If you guys are in need of coins for any reason, make sure to check out cheapmaddencoins.com. Use code Mike at checkout for 10% off. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are doing a very special video. I am listing off my favorite players from every single NFL team. I want to say this before I get into the main parts of the video. I got this idea from RBT. I'm gonna leave his link in the description. He's done like 2 videos like this. They're absolutely awesome. Like I said, I'll leave his link in the description. Make sure to check him out. I asked him beforehand if it was okay if I could do a video like this because I know it's his kind of concept, and the Madden community does a lot of copycat stuff. I didn't want to be that guy, so I asked him. He said it was cool. So yeah, without further ado, if I talk about your team or list a favorite player on your team, make sure to drop a like on this video. So that should be everyone, right? I'm doing every team, so every single person should like this video, please. As for the New Orleans Saints, my favorite player is Alvin Kamara. Honestly, I don't have a lot of favorite players that are running backs because, you know, Todd Gurley, but Kamara is definitely one of them. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that pretty much chose the most obvious answer right here, Antonio Brown. If you're not a fan of him, they're probably doing something wrong in life. He's a beast. He's very fun to watch. Good guy. Definitely a fan of Antonio Brown. I don't know why I'm a fan of Julian Edelman, but honestly, every single time he plays, he just looks like he's working so much harder than every other person on the field. Maybe that's why Julian Edelman is my favorite player on the New England Patriots. Green Bay Packers fans and pretty much NFL fans, you should know this. Aaron Rodgers is probably the most skilled quarterback we have ever seen. He is without a doubt my favorite player on the Packers. There has been a ton of controversy surrounding Cam Newton, but needless to say, he's definitely my favorite player on the Panthers. If you guys didn't know this already, I was actually kind of a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles back in the day. Not so much anymore, but LaShawn McCoy was definitely my favorite running back at the time, so obviously he's my favorite player on the Bills. Julio Jones, is he the best wide receiver in the NFL? I'm gonna leave that up to you guys, but I can tell you one thing for sure, he's definitely my favorite player on the Atlanta Falcons. I can't exactly put my finger on it as to why I'm such a fan of Stephon Diggs, but I just am. When he had that walk-off touchdown in the playoffs, boy, that was incredible. Stephon Diggs, definitely my favorite player on the Minnesota Vikings. As a Rams fan, it is very hard for me to pick a favorite player on the Seattle Seahawks, but without a doubt, it's got to be Cam Chancellor. I don't know if it's the dark visor or the hard hitting, but he's definitely my favorite player on the Seattle Seahawks. Very tough decision, but I had to pick Killer Cam. Now we are at the broski Aaron and Donald. In my opinion, no, it's not even an opinion anymore. The best defensive player in the NFL. I know I've just triggered so many people right there. Aaron Donald has been my favorite player in the league since he's been drafted. The Beast, number 99 from the Rams. Definitely my favorite player, not only for the Rams, but in the NFL. I'll be straight with y'all. There wasn't a lot of options on the Chicago Bears squad, but Leonard Floyd is a player that I've loved ever since he came out of college. It's definitely fun still watching him in the NFL. If I had to pick my favorite player on Chicago Bears, it'd probably be Leonard Floyd. This should be no surprise here. I've been a fan of Big Zeke ever since he came into the league. Big fan of him at Ohio State. He's actually from Missouri. Actually, he lived in Illinois for most of his life, but he went to high school in Missouri. Definitely a fan of Ezekiel Elliott. Without a doubt, my favorite player on the Dallas Cowboys. Patrick Peterson, without a doubt, is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and for that reason, he is my favorite player on the Cardinals. Nick Foles, one of my favorite players on the Eagles back in the day when he had his 27 touchdown, 2 interception season. He's back on the Eagles. He won a Super Bowl. Definitely my favorite player on that squad. T.Y. Hilton, I don't know why I chose him as my favorite player for the Colts. Probably because I draft him in fantasy every year. But yeah, T.Y. definitely my favorite player on the Colts. Marshawn Lynch, yeah, beast mode. Definitely my favorite player on the Raiders currently. Matt Stafford's been one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league for a very long time. Reason being, he played with a little man, I shouldn't say little man, a big man named Calvin Johnson. So Stafford, definitely my favorite player on the Lions. I, along with many people, have been a big fan of Mike Evans ever since he played at Texas A&M with Johnny Football, running the show down there. And yeah, he's definitely my favorite player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers currently. As for the Ravens, I don't really watch them very much, if at all, but Eric Weddle's always been a fun player to watch. So I picked Eric Weddle, the Weddle man. I don't know if anyone calls him that, but he's my favorite player on the Baltimore Ravens. Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ, the source of a lot of controversy as of late. Definitely my favorite wide receiver in the NFL when there is a possibility that he can be traded to the Rams. You could say that I was excited. OBJ, definitely my favorite player on the Giants. Yes, I will toot my own horn a little bit. I had to be the only person that said the Titans were going to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs last year. I said Derrick Henry was going to have a coming out game, and boy, did he have a good game. Derrick Henry, my favorite player on the Tennessee Titans. Chiefs fans, you got an absolute playmaker on your squad. Tyreek Hill, without a doubt, my favorite player on the team. I remember when he made this play versus New England, and I want to say week 1, absolute burner of a player. Turned behind and gave him the peace sign, said, I am out. This is 6. Tyreek Hill, definitely my favorite player on the Kansas City Chiefs. As for the Cincinnati Bengals, I feel like this is like T.Y. Hilton. He's one of my favorite players because I pick him in fantasy every year. But Tyler, if you could stop getting hurt, that would be great. You're my favorite player on the Bengals. Maybe that'll give you some encouragement to please stop getting hurt. I would love it. As for the Denver Broncos, Shane Ray, the Mizzou product, is my favorite player on this squad. I'm a sucker for a good pass rusher, and Shane Ray is definitely that. As for the Washington Redskins, I'm pretty sure Chris Thompson, before he got hurt, was leading his team in rushing yards and receiving yards. If that doesn't just scream absolute beast to you, I don't know what you're doing. Chris Thompson always destroys the Rams whenever he plays them. He's definitely my favorite player on the Washington Redskins. Very, very, very underrated and very fun to watch. Yes, I know Danny Amendola is wearing a Patriots jersey in this picture, but he is now on the Miami Dolphins, and I picked him as my favorite player on that squad because he does have ties to the Rams. Definitely a fun player to watch. Seems like one of those guys that just works harder than everyone on the field. Doesn't really have very many physical gifts, but just a great wide receiver overall. Phillip Rivers, aka the Charles Barkley of the NFL, one of the best quarterbacks of all time to never win a ring. I guess I shouldn't say never say never, because that Chargers team is looking pretty nice. LA definitely's got some good squads at this point. Phillip Rivers, favorite player on the Los Angeles Chargers. Guys, New York Jets fans, I'm sorry. I don't watch your games ever, almost ever. I really like the draft pick, Leonard Williams. It was a good pick. I don't know very much. This is kind of a weird choice because I don't really have a favorite player on the team. But yeah, Leonard Williams, there he is. Josh Gordon, one of the biggest what ifs in NFL history so far. The man has not been able to stay on the field, but when he does, he is one of the best wide receivers in the entire league. Very, very fun to watch. In the words of Stephen A. Smith, 49ers fans, you definitely traded for a gem, one of the future superstars of the NFL, Jimmy Garoppolo, aka Jimmy Garoppolo, aka Jimmy G. Definitely my favorite player on the 49ers. 49ers fans, if you could not stop coming at my neck. I know I'm a Rams fan, I know you're 49ers fans, but let's just be friends, right? Let's just be friends. And last but not least, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I believe to be one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, Jalen Ramsey. Reminds me of a guy named Deion Sanders walking around with all that swagger. Jalen Ramsey is an absolute beast. Very fun to watch, especially in the post-game interviews. Jalen Ramsey is my favorite player on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I know it's something new, something different other than Madden, but it has football involved, so I figure you guys would like it. If you want to see more lists like this of my favorite players, or like my least favorite players, or my favorite jerseys, or my favorite stadiums, or favorite logos, whatever it may be, let me know down in the comment section below. Like I said before, hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and guys, I will see you in my next upload. Peace.